There are 5 tests that you can do for your logo and your brand to test the legibility and to see if the logo works. In this video, I'll be covering the 5 tests that you can do easily to test if the logo is legible and if you can use it right away. So let's get into it. The first one is the squint test. So make sure once you finish the concept and the logo, you take a step back and blur it, or you can just squint and step back to see if it works. And if it still is able to see the detail, then the logo will survive. So make sure that it survives the squint test. And if it doesn't, then the detail just blurs through and it's not clear enough. So make sure it passes the squint test. Number 2 is the one color test. And I suggest you start for every project with black and white. And the reason for this is because you don't want to heavily rely on color. And most brands that you know today use the black and white first for their logo before they add color. The reason for this is if it's strong enough in black and white, then once you add color, it will just complement it even further. But if it doesn't work in black and white, then color wouldn't really do much good for you anyway, because once you do it in black and white, then it doesn't really have meaning. You don't want the meaning for the logo just to be in the color variation. So make sure that it works in black and white first before you go and add the brand colors. So you can see with the Nike logo, just black and white, or the Apple logo, Adidas logo, all those logos that you know today would work initially in black and white, and adding color would be no issue, but it first does work in black and white. So test yours in black and white, make sure it works and is legible before you go ahead and add some colors to the brand. The third one is the tiny test. Make sure the logo can be scaled down all the way and is legible at every size, especially as an app icon. Test it on 16 pixels and see if it works. And if it doesn't, then the logo relies heavily on being at a bigger scale because it has so many tiny details that can't be seen when it's scaled down. So make sure that it works in a small scale and a large scale without losing its meaning. And if it does lose meaning, it means it's too much details in there that needs to be removed, and it could even be simplified further. So do this first and make sure it works before you go ahead and publish the logo. Number 4 is the flip test. Turn it upside down and see if it works, because your brain sees the shapes and interacts with the logo differently as if it would the right way around. So flip it and see any problems or any things that you see with it once it's upside down, because your brain works differently once it's flipped, and it will see problems and hidden things that you won't see naturally by just looking at it the right way up. So flip it and see if you find any issues, and if you do, make some corrections so that the logo looks more balanced and it works in different settings. The 5th one is the describe test. Make sure you just test this. So can someone describe it from just looking at it for a few seconds? And if the answer is yes, then most likely the logo is memorable and simple enough to pass these tests. If it's not, then you need to simplify it further so that they can remember it, because if it's too complicated, then they won't remember it. We remember the logos and the brands that exist today because of how simple it is and it's easy to remember. So if it's complex, most likely they won't be able to describe it or remember it in the first place because everything will blur together and it's too complex to understand it. So simplify as much as you possibly can, and you will realize that this is the simplest form once you can't take anything else away without it losing the initial meaning behind the logo. The strongest meanings that you intend to have could not be simplified any further. Then you know this is the simplest form. And if it's still complicated and hard to remember, then the concept will be too difficult to publish and it won't be memorable anyway. So it might not be legible. But if it is, then if it passed these 5 tests, then most likely you have a good logo and a memorable logo that passes all these tests, and you can publish it right away. And if you want the logo that passes all of these tests that we covered today, click the first link in the description down below and you can book a 30-minute free consultation call with myself, and I'll be happy to help you in any way that I can. Thank you guys for watching my video. I hope you found this video useful, and I'll see you guys on the next one.